Welcome to the CAST overview. CAST is a framework used by the Duval County Public Schools to describe and document the complex task of teaching. The framework was adopted by the district in the summer of 2011. CAST is an acronym that stands for Collaborative Assessment System for Teachers. This research-based framework was developed by Charlotte Danielson and is divided into 22 components clustered in 4 domains. The domains are 1. Planning and preparation, 2. Classroom environment, 3. Instruction, 4. Professional responsibilities. Please refer to the components of the professional practice handout that you downloaded and printed for this assignment. Each of the 22 components define a distinct aspect of a domain, and components can be further broken down into multiple elements or threads. For example, Domain 2, Classroom Environment, is divided into 5 components: 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, and 2E. And component 2A, Creating an Environment of Respect and Rapport, contains 2 elements: teacher interaction with students and student interaction. Each profession has a language of practice, and this framework serves as our common language of instruction. You will soon have the opportunity to learn more about these domains, components, and elements from an online course featuring Charlotte Danielson in person. So let's turn our attention now on how this framework fits into the district's formal observation structure. The number of observations a teacher receives depends on which of the 4 categories the teacher is in, which is based on their previous evaluations and number of years they have been teaching. But the formal observation structure is the same for all teachers and is made up of these 5 structures. First, the pre-observation conference. Second, the classroom lesson observation. Third, the preparation for feedback with the teacher. 4. The post-observation conference. And 5. The finalization of the ratings. Let's look at what happens within each of these structures. But first, it is important to note how the domains and components fit within the observation structures we just went over. You are encouraged to use highlighters and color code your handout if you were not able to print it in color. The components in domains 1, 2, 3, and 4A will be rated following a formal lesson observation. Evidence to rate the components in blue comes mostly from the observation. Evidence to rate the components in red comes mostly from the pre-observation conference. Component 1A can be rated by both the pre-observation conference and the observation. During the post-observation conference, the administrator might discover additional information that leads to revisions of the ratings and the summary. The items in green are part of Domain 4 and are only rated by the principal as part of the summative evaluation. These items can only be rated through conversations and the collection of artifacts. The pre-observation conference is the first step in the formal observation structure. The purpose of this conference is to gather information about the class and the lesson that's going to be observed. The conference enables the observer to gain insight into what will be observed, the classroom environment, and any students with special needs. There are 8 pre-observation questions that the teacher is required to answer. The answers to these questions reflect the teacher's plans and intentions for the lesson, as well as the activities and assignments that will be given to the students. The conference usually lasts anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. The teachers will find these 8 questions within My Profile in the district portal under the CAST evaluation link. At the agreed upon time, the administrator or observer arrives at the classroom to begin the classroom lesson observation. This observation should last at least 30 minutes and often can be the entire period. During the observation, the observer is looking at the relationship between the teacher and the students and between and among the students. This is a cause and effect relationship. As a result of the teaching, or cause, the observer looks for the impact on the student learning, or the effect. During the observation, the observer should leave all bias at the classroom door. Only facts or evidence of the teaching and learning process should be gathered. Only what is seen and heard should be recorded. Opinions and evaluative descriptors such as too many and good should not be noted. Administrators or observers can take notes in a variety of formats using a variety of tools, from scripting on paper using a clipboard to taking electronic notes on a tablet. Please refer to the rubric handout for this slide. The observation structure is guided by a series of rubrics for each domain, component, and elements that define levels of performance, ranging from unsatisfactory to developing needs improvement, effective, and finally highly effective. It is important to recognize that the levels of the rubric are levels of performance of the act of teaching at a specific point in time, not levels of performance of the teacher. In general, our district defines these levels in this way. Unsatisfactory. These teachers do not understand the concepts underlying the components, and they have difficulty internalizing effective teaching practices and need ongoing assistance to complete daily responsibilities. Developing and needs improvement. These teachers appear to understand the concepts underlying the components and attempt the elements, but the implementation is sporadic, intermittent, or otherwise not entirely successful. Effective. Teachers have mastered the work of teaching while working to improve their practice. They thoroughly know their content, students, and curriculum. They have a broad repertoire of strategies and activities and can move easily to Plan B if necessary. Highly effective. Teachers performing at this level are master teachers. Their classrooms consist of a community of learners with students highly motivated, engaging, and assuming considerable responsibility for their own learning. Highly effective performance is very effective performance, which results from a combination of an understanding of students, pedagogy, and the content with instructional planning, delivery, and reflection. Once the observation is complete, the administrator reviews and organizes the evidence that was gathered in preparation for the post-observation conference. The administrator uses the post-observation summary sheet to guide the feedback planning. First, areas of strength of the lesson are noted. The administrator reviews his or her notes and selects those elements of the lesson that made the greatest impact on the student learning. Then the administrator makes notes of several areas of focus, followed by suggested next steps. In all areas of the post-observation summary sheet, the administrator should only include evidence gathered during the observation. Actual language from the rubric should be used within the narrative of the summaries. It is also helpful if the administrator pulls actual examples and quotes from his or her notes and cites them within the narrative to provide supporting details. Prior to the post-observation conference, the teacher completes 4 post-observation questions, again in the CAST portal. The administrator schedules the conference within 5 days of the observation, and using the post-observation summary tool, the administrator and teacher discuss the strengths, areas of focus, and next steps for the lesson that was observed. Using both the evidence that was collected and the language of the rubric is the way the administrator can help the teacher have some sense of his or her ratings. Teachers are encouraged to take an active part in this conference by helping develop the areas of focus that have been identified as well as craft possible next steps. Given the basic formal observation structure we have just reviewed, you are now ready to begin learning about each of the 4 domains and their components and elements in much greater detail. As you complete the next sections, you are encouraged to remember a single unifying thread runs through the entire framework, and this thread consists of engaging students in learning important content. Charlotte Danielson says each and every component in the framework serves this primary purpose. You are also encouraged to study the framework carefully in search of other common themes essential to effective teaching, such as 1. A commitment to equity, 2. A sensitivity to the various cultures of students, 3. The importance of high expectations, 4. Attention to individual students, including those with special needs, and 5. Appropriate use of technology. We hope this overview has helped provide you with a better understanding of the CAST process. You are now ready to begin the first module on Domain 1, Planning and Preparation. Enjoy your learning.